My name is Randy Stewart, and I want to welcome you to Friends of Tyrannus. And actually, you know what we got going on here is we're going to have a back-to-back-to-back. This is my friend, Kenza Haddock, and she's very cool. And we're going to spend some time talking. I just want you to get the opportunity to meet her. And then we're going to bring her back, and she's going to open up our understanding to things like anxiety and dealing with stress. And you'll understand why she's going to be the one sharing. It will not be me. I brought in the expert. And then we're going to have another session. So when I say back-to-back-to-back, we're going to have a third session because beyond understanding, we want to be equipped to help others and to manage our own lives. Absolutely. So we're going to have 3 sessions together. Right now, this is Kenza Haddock. Kenza, tell us your story. How did you get here? Why are you here?
Absolutely. So my name is Kenza Haddock. First and foremost, I am a Christ follower.
Yes, she is.
So my husband and I own a private practice for counseling. My role there is clinical director, and we're about to open the second location, so we're really excited about that.
Wow, you must be busy.
It is exciting, and it's also unfortunate to see just how much anxiety has exploded in this whole.
That's true.
Just not just pandemic, just everywhere.
The need is huge.
Yes, absolutely. So I am grateful we are there to provide that. Yes. How did I get into?
Yeah, how did you get into counseling?
It's interesting because that was not my field of choice in the beginning. I was going another direction. My first major was in business, and shortly after I became a Christ follower, I felt this strong calling to go into counseling.
Whoa.
Yes.
Those two are not even similar.
No, not at all. And I resisted it in the beginning just because I know how much responsibility it carries. But also, I'm like, okay, I'm a new believer. I don't know if this is really God. Or, I wanted to make sure first because it meant I had to go back to school in a new field. So I had my pastor then. I talked to him and I asked him to pray for direction, for guidance, just to see if this was really God. And it was actually funny because that was the first day when I asked him to pray. He asked a couple of people to pray as well, and my husband was one of them. And that was the first time I met him, my husband.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. And really, if ever you get a chance to meet her husband, he is such a good guy.
Yes.
Oh, you'd love him.
He is. So it was... We prayed, and I registered. I went back to school, and throughout my graduate studies, I began to see what God was doing in the midst of that. I saw that, I was pulled into this major. My major was counseling, and my specialization was trauma and anxiety.
Whoa.
And so it's everywhere.
Yeah.
It is everywhere. It's a pandemic.
Yeah.
And so I saw how God was using everything I went through as a child, developmentally and growing up.
Your own personal trauma.
Yes. And healing that so that I can help other people. And there's a verse on that, something about comforting others. Yes.
2 Corinthians, these things I do know. 2 Corinthians chapter 1 says, in the same way that you've been comforted, you are now equipped to turn and comfort others who are going through the same kind of stuff. So
absolutely, and that is what I aspire to do, and it continues to surprise me just how much anxiety, how much it affects everybody.
Because we are going to talk about everybody. Yes. We're going to get them all in here. They're going to line up. Right? All of them. They're going to be right. But how did you become aware of the level of anxiety that you were experiencing? How did that happen?
Well, that's very interesting because I did not know of life without anxiety.
So for you, it was normal. It was just living.
Yes, it was existing with this ball in my stomach, and that's how I was walking around, And anxiety, by definition, is when we worry excessively or we have this sense of impending doom. When, sometimes it affects our sleep, it affects our daily living, it affects whether we eat or not. And so that was my norm. That was my life until I got it through grad school. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm experiencing anxiety and I need to use these coping skills that I'm learning about to conquer it, not just live with it.
Actually, because I know a little bit of your story, I'm going to lead you into something. You actually had, going through your class, you had an assignment, and the assignment was you.
Yes, absolutely, yes. We, at Liberty, they made us work through ourselves first before we can ever treat anyone else. Wow. And that was a clinical that we had to go up to Liberty campus and work on it.
I think that is so cool. Our audience here is primarily Christian leaders. And one of the things that we're learning as leaders is that it's one thing to be able to teach it or declare it or exhort it, but until it's modeled.
Yes.
So it's like the very truth that we want everybody else to buy into, we need to realize that it has to have a landing place in our lives.
Absolutely.
And so here you are, a counselor, realizing there's all this stuff you want them to get a hold of. But until it lands,
yes, because they have to see that you're a safe place. Absolutely.
Yeah, cool. Very, very cool. Very cool. Now, what would you say, and then we're going to, what would you say to invite them? Why should they watch the next couple of videos?
So, first of all, anxiety itself, if you're watching this video, I know that you have dealt with anxiety. I'm trying to think of a percentage of our clients, and even like when I think of my friends in general, and I don't know anybody who has not experienced anxiety.
Wow. See, that's the truth. That is the truth.
It would be good if you even learn about it, if you just want to learn about it, if you want to learn some coping skills for yourself, for someone that you love, there is no way that you don't know somebody, a loved one, a friend, a student, a child, and the sooner they learn it, the better.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And this is the kind of stuff we're going to zero in on. Hey, thank you for joining us. Thank you. Did I tell you? She's great. She's awesome. We're going to have a good time. We're really going to have a good time. And I want you to know you can reach out to us. You can reach out to Friends of Tyrannus. And on our website, we're going to make sure that there's information about Kenza and her practice on how you could reach out to her. Because this doesn't need to be a 10 minutes in, 10 minutes out type thing. There's going to be questions that are stirred up. Not only she's going to provide some answers, but there's going to be questions that are stirred up. And we want to get a handle on these questions. Kenza, thank you very much for spending this time with me.
Of course.
This is awesome.
It's a pleasure.
We're going to see you guys next time around, okay? God bless you.